Welcome to the Supreme Lending Dallas Show, where you'll be introduced to different speakers on different topics, and you'll meet different guests for each of our episodes. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Supreme Lending Dallas Show. I'm the host, Liz Evans, and I have a guest here today on networking. Her name is Amber Rodgers. Amber, go ahead and say hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on today, Liz.
You're welcome.
We met through networking.
We did meet through networking, and here I was known as the networking queen, but then I met Amber, and she just goes circles around me. I just can't even tell you how much this girl networks and the importance of networking. So we'll go ahead and get started. One of the first questions that viewers ask is, what is networking, Amber?
Well, it's an opportunity to build relationships with great people. It's not a party. No, some people think I'm always attending parties. I do make it fun. We do make them fun, but there are events where you can go in and meet people. People often say it's all about who you know, and that's not actually correct. It's about who knows you, right?
That's absolutely right. Yes. And for those that aren't quite sure about networking or how to get started, how does someone get started in networking?
Well, there's a couple things. Facebook is a great way to find events that are going on in your community. You can go on meetups. There's lots of ways. LinkedIn even, I think, has some events out there. And one thing that I think is really important is to almost find like a networking accountability partner. You know, I often have people that I network every Monday. I will talk to them like, what event are you doing? What event are you doing? And sometimes we even divide and conquer. So they're at one event, I'm at another event, and we're meeting different people.
And that's where a lot of referrals come in also, correct?
In my opinion, there is no better way to build a referral-based business than networking.
And I agree with that. The referrals that we've received back and forth has been so many, and then the connections also.
And the friendships, right?
Yes.
I mean, I go to birthdays and baby showers, and you and I, we're great
we
friends.
do, because we become friends instantly right away from our networking event.
Right.
From the very first one we ever met at, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Amber, we have a viewer asking, she says that she's shy. So how does she start conversations when attending these networking events?
So this is really interesting, and I actually learned this from one of my mentors. One thing, the easiest way is to wear something unusual or unique, have a conversation piece on, and people will approach you a lot of times. And think of it this way. What's the worst that can happen, right? The great thing about networking, it is the one place where you can walk up to somebody and say, what do you do? And people don't get offended, right? Because that's what you're there to do. You're there to learn about each other's business. So really, that's the easiest in. Either wear something where people will come up and talk to you, whether it's shoes, a cool necklace, you know, they're going to come up and compliment you. And so that's an easy way for a conversation to start without you even saying anything, right?
Right.
And then the easy in is just, what do you do?
Okay. And then we touched on Facebook events. How else can people find networking events?
The Chamber of Commerce is a good start. I mean, every community has a Chamber of Commerce, and most of those people are very well connected in the community. And so they often know of other events that are occurring. So I would say that's a good start. And looking for charity events. You know, people love it when you give back to the community.
Absolutely. Along with the charity events, and there's also Eventbrite where you can find several also,
True.
right?
True.
And then, Amber, you touched on charity events. Go ahead and tell us about this picture that's come up.
I love this charity. It's actually for disabled children, and we do a red carpet event for them every single year, and we do it up. And what I love about it is that you really get to see some of the charity events. You don't see firsthand the contribution you're making, but at that particular event, you do. You see the kids and their faces light up, and it's just a lovely event.
And then we have another photo, and this is one that we went to. Go ahead and talk about this event. This is very dear to your heart.
Yes, this is very dear to my heart. This is the same actual event. It's the Night of Superstars. So it is to help, you know, like I said, disabled children, and we just make their world. And, you know, actually through that event and that particular picture, the child that was in the event, he became great friends with one of my friends, and they do business together. So it's just a beautiful thing.
And Amber, what is the importance of networking?
The importance of networking really is to build a referral-based business, to get your name out there, and to have trusted partners in the community. That's one of them. I mean, there's so many. There's probably a list of 100 things I could tell you, but definitely just getting your name out there and building relationships, because people work with people they like, know, and trust.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. And what do you say to those people that think that networking is a waste of time?
They're not doing it right. And that's the truth, because one of the biggest, what I see is that people don't do right. Number one, they don't know where to go or what types of events to attend. And number two, they don't follow up. Just because you meet somebody and you hand them a card and you walk away doesn't mean you're building a relationship. So follow up, have the lunch, do the coffee, and learn about them. Don't go into the meeting, networking, talking all about you, right? Ask questions, see what they need, and help them.
And Amber, we've been to so many networking events that sometimes people want to start talking to you on a personal level in place of a business level. How do you go about wrapping that back around to business?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm just an open book if they want to talk personal. I think that especially in certain industries, you kind of are your brand, and they do want to talk about your kids and your family and, you know, your vacation. And I think that's okay. I would say sometimes maybe people get a little too personal, and basically just redirect the conversation.
And we have another viewer asking a question. Is networking good for those who are well connected in the community?
Absolutely. That's how they got well connected most of the time, right?
Right.
It's hard to be well connected if you stay at home in your pajamas all day.
And that's true.
Right.
Yeah. Especially we found that out this past year over Zoom, right?
You know, and luckily I had a great network, so I just put everybody on Zoom, and we did happy hour on Zoom, and we did
sure
masterminds and all of it. So we didn't skip much.
Okay. And what makes a great networking event?
What makes a great networking event? That's a good question. Mm-hmm. Quality people would be my answer. When you're hosting an event or when you're attending an event, do look at who's attending. You want to make sure that there's some influencers in the room. And in fact, I actually host a lot of small private networking events. I find that they do very well. We have 10 to 15 people, 15 max, and it really gives people an opportunity to connect at a higher level. And when I'm selecting the guest, I always make sure that they're influencers and tied into the community. And they do a lot of business together.
And Amber, you're very selective on the people that you bring into your circle, correct? Because you want to make sure that these are the people that you can trust and that you can rely on, correct? What is the importance of relying on people when you have referred business to them?
When I make a referral, it is my name on that referral. I take that very, very serious. And that's one of the reasons I work with you all. I know that if I give a referral over, that they're going to be taken care of, period. And yes, that matters because it's your name when you pass that referral.
Absolutely. Okay. And we have another photo that's come up. Go ahead and talk about this photo. I believe this was at our Realtors Red Carpet event.
That was your Realtors Red Carpet event. Yes, that was such a lovely night. You did a great job. I mean, we had so many people in attendance. Everybody had a good time, and it was very high energy. So it was a wonderful event. One of my favorites.
It's so much fun, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And then here's another just fun one at a networking, and we could go on and on. One of the things is whenever I'm going through and scrolling through pictures like on Amber's Facebook, I could be doing this for a week if I showed you all the networking event photos. So I just had to pick a selected few.
Yes. And you know, that's something that I want to talk about too. It's very interesting because people literally say to me, oh my gosh, you're everywhere, right?
Right.
And the fact is I can't be everywhere because literally there's networking events every single night. But I do post everything on Facebook, and you would be surprised just attending a few events and to start posting them, how people are really watching. They're watching what you're doing. It makes a big difference.
They really are watching what you're doing, even though they might not post a like or a comment. They are watching you.
Yes. My question of the night is an example. It's funny because I ask a question of the night every single night on social media, and I'll walk into places and not even recognize somebody, and they'll say, Amber, what's your question going to be tonight? Or they say to me, I watch every night. I might not comment, but I watch it every single night. It's very surprising.
And you talked about that. You have a question of the night. So if you're looking to see what Amber's talking about, follow her on Facebook, and the information is up on the screen. And how else can people contact you, Amber?
Oh, I'm pretty open book. I let them just call me or text me. It's really the best way. And my number is 214-900-4167.
Okay, and then there's another question that a viewer's asking, and they have been to some networking events and have seen some things that they don't think you should be doing during networking events. What are some of those things?
Drinking too much. That is definitely a problem. And I have a rule, I'll have 2 drinks max, and that's it. You have to remain professional. Yes, it's fun, and yes, you want to have fun and engaging, but you have to walk a line. It's a job.
Right. And people do watch that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't get drunk in front of your boss. Why would you walk into a networking event and get drunk? It's not a big party, really. And if you want to take it off later and meet up with a small group and do whatever you want, fine. But you really can ruin your reputation if you're not careful.
Yes, you can. We've seen that over and over again as we're out networking. Yeah.
Sure.
That's someone you really don't care to do business with or send referrals to, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, Amber, what is one of the most rewarding networking events that you've been to?
The charity events, they're always my favorite, especially with the kids and Night of Superstars. It's just very dear to my heart. And actually, realtors run it. And I love making a difference.
And we do really make a difference when we help represent them, help purchase a ticket for those events.
Raise money, they get scholarships, and there's all kinds of charities, but charity events are definitely my favorite.
Thank you, Amber. And as we come to the close of our episode, Amber, is there any last words you'd like to say to the audience?
Oh, goodness. So people often say your network equals your net worth. It's that important.
I agree. It is. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Networking, and have a blessed day.